原子炉建屋のある海抜10メートル地点は全域が水没。非常用ディーゼル発電機も海水をかぶり故障。中央制御室の全ての計器が作動していません。原子炉が今どうなっているのか確かめる術がありません。
You know, when you're watching movies or series about real life tragedies and disaster things that have actually truly happened, there is a weird feeling of wanting to be respectful and empathetic to the people that these events really happen to, but also it's your job as a filmmaker to go and actually make it entertaining so that people will want to stay engaged and watch the entire content. It's a balancing act that has to be done in order for these series to go ahead and actually catch on and get the viewers that it needs in order to validate the content. Now, I'm actually not that big of a fan of watching movies that are based off of real life tragedies because I just feel sometimes weird about watching that. And I've watched things like, of course, like Titanic or something that was based on true story and it was fictionalized a lot for Hollywood, like Perfect Storm or what have you. But there's also ones that are harder to watch, and I don't think I'll ever watch them. It's like United 93 or Alive. Those are just things that I don't want to go and actually watch those. So I'm kind of like on the fence about perspective on this one for me. Like I'm not a main audience member, but I'm also not a casual viewer on it. So I'm probably going to be on the fence and try and give a very balanced perspective on my expectations and what someone else from the other side might go ahead and actually be looking for in this type of series. And the reason why I go ahead and actually give perspectives is because I feel that you as the viewer need to go ahead and actually know what biases or perspectives the reviewer is coming from to kind of really make your evaluation on, hey, is this for me or not? So I give you that perspective of whether I'm main or casual, what have you. But either way, I watched the first 2 episodes of brand new series on streaming content to go and actually see if they're right for you, see if they're worth your time. I waste my time so you don't have to. If you like how that sounds, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe. And now, let me get into this review for you. The Days premiered in June of 2023. It has 8 episodes, each about 55 minutes. It was filmed in Japanese, but it does have English dubbing and subtitles. As anyone that's a regular to this channel knows that my pronunciation of non-North American names is terrible. So I'm going to go ahead and actually put pictures and type in the names so that you can go ahead and actually who this stars because I want to go and actually pay them respect. So we have this gentleman here. We also have this guy here. And of course we've got this guy. Alright, so those are the stars for The Days. Now, The Days depicts the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident that occurred in 2011, and it was over a period of 7 days. From the 3 perspectives of the government, corporate organizations, and those who put their lives on the line, it will approach what really happened on that day and in that place. So from this kind of real life horror and disaster, I feel the number one thing that people want is being as accurate and respectful as possible to the events that happen. Also to the people and the portrayals involved, we want it to be as accurate as possible. Next, we want to feel connected to at least a couple of the people in this series. The more that we can humanize and personalize the people, the more we'll feel the impact of the events unfolding. Lastly, any kind of accountability, theories, or aftermath that occurred from the events would bring over some entertainment and education for people. So if you kind of put all of those in there, those are the expectations for us as viewers and what we're looking for. Now, the characters in here were definitely portrayed in a favorable light. As the tsunami that hit Fukushima on that day effectively killed a lot of workers. And those that did survive were tasked with survival while trying to stabilize the nuclear reactor and save tens of thousands of people in the area from nuclear fallout. The actors that portrayed the control room head and his crew were very good, and I really felt for them. Conversely, as I believe is almost always the case, the portrayal of corporate heads and government, they were much more concerned with statuses and data and information versus the people. At least that's how it's portrayed. And it wasn't always the case, but I think it's just the nature of being an everyday person and viewing people in power as not being the real heroes. It's always the people that are on the ground doing the real work or what have you. So in this case, I'd say that that's correct. That's what was portrayed. That's how we feel. But I feel that all the actors did a decent to great job in conveying these people, whether you're talking about government officials, corporate heads, and at the main corporate office, or the people that were at the nuclear reactor and then at the power plants and things of that nature, that they were very believable, and we really wanted to know what was going on with them. We cared about them. The story is the story, but how it's laid out in this series is important. There's kind of like the buildup of a normal start to the day for everyone and some of their lives, just to kind of give us a flow into the way that the day is going to be. Then there's an earthquake that disrupts things. And that would normally be the big thing, right? If everyone would have to recover from an earthquake, like an earthquake is a major thing, depending upon, the size of it, what have you. But the fact that a tsunami hit right after that earthquake just stressed the people, the facilities, emergency response teams to their max. It went ahead and actually pushed everything into overdrive. What the series makers or the showrunners what they do is a good job of developing the story at the reactor, to the headquarters, to the government in reasonable ways. It's paced in a way of being real time on how on each level they would be viewing things. And with limited to no communication in certain situations, assumptions, guesses, predictions, and speculations run rampant. And you can feel the tension ramp up at every level, and it's palpable. That tension just gets to you. I feel anyone who can handle traumatic stories will find this one really compelling, because the story is there for you, it is built in, and it's there for you. There are definitely some points that seem contrived for this series, and this is just me, because I don't know of the real stories of the people that were involved in the situation or what have you. For example, if you look at the story like the Titanic, right? Jack and Rose are two characters that did not exist. Our whole thing is wrapped up into their romance, when there's actually real people that went through things on there that were real, that survived or passed away or anything of that nature that we could have focused in on, but we kind of moved to their series. So in this particular series, there's two workers on, and I'm giving this as an example of, like, I don't know if this is true. If it is, it's crazy. If it's not, it's like, do we really need to do that? So there's two workers that are stuck in kind of like a clean box. So there's these boxes, I think, that they have to go into to access a part of the facility. So what happens is you kind of go into one part, that door shuts, and the other one's still shut. You go ahead and actually key badge in your security to let you into that second door that raises up, and then you go in there, and then boom, it's shut. Well, they get caught in those two boxes. The two guys are in parallel boxes, walking in there. They go into the first door. They see the tsunami is hitting, and it's already wiped out the power station. So their badges will not allow them to badge to go inside, nor can they get back out. So they're stuck into these two 4x4 boxes that they can't move around, can't do anything, and they're just seeing the tsunami come down and hit, and it starts penetrating the doors and all that kind of stuff, and it starts working its way up. And it seems like so traumatic, seems so crazy or what have you, and things like that. And that was just it was a very difficult scene to watch, and I'm like, if that really happened, that is crazy, traumatic. If it didn't happen, just seems like overly dramatized when there's other things that didn't happen. So it's just an example of things. So like I kind of hope that it did happen to portray something accurately, but I also kind of hope it didn't happen, because that'd be very traumatic. So that's where I'm at with that. But I also go and actually believe that part of watching this disaster series and watching it shot and from a Japanese perspective and content maker is that I believe my North American bias and attitude comes out a bit, as even when these workers, these officials are facing true disaster and they're stressed to the max, they're still so polite to their superiors. They're like bowing, saying yes sir, and all that kind of stuff. Because I can tell you this, is that most Americans are not going to be polite in those circumstances. We're not going to go and actually be so clean cut in there. We're going to be stressed to the max and we're going to be just doing whatever. Not that we're going to be totally disrespectful, but the bowing, we don't do that anyways, but we're definitely not saying yes sir, no sir, all that kind of stuff. Maybe you will if you're a soldier, but that's about as far as it goes. Just saying. For my verdict for main target audiences, if you're about real life dramatic series and things like that, you should watch the entire series. It is well acted, it is well paced. It's definitely intriguing to see a first world nation like Japan react as a modern civilization to the combined disasters of an earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear reactor leak with limited info. So all that technology that we have at our hand that kind of monitors and helps us through when that's all shut down, how does a first world nation react to that level of trauma? And it's fascinating to see that. I believe the people of Japan should be proud of their reactions and their portrayals in here, because you could tell that they were getting their stuff together, and it is very good. I'm going to say that if you're a casual viewer, that you're not as much on dramatic scenes or, how should I say, disasters or anything like that. If you're just a casual viewer, I'm going to say watch the first 2 episodes. The first one really sets the stage for how the disasters put people on their heels, and then the second one really starts to show you how the people are working through to get solutions done and what they're going to be doing for majority of the rest of the series. The production value is high, and you'll be vested into the story the entire time to see if you really want to watch the rest of the series. So again, for main target audiences, I'm going to say watch the whole series. For casual audiences, watch the first 2 episodes to see if it's your thing. And that's what I have for The Days on Netflix. Check it out. I appreciate you sticking around for the entire review. I do. Do me a favor, click like, share, and subscribe if you like this review. Also, check out one of my other videos that YouTube seems to think that you might like of mine. But until the next time, I'll holler at you. Take care of yourself.